Hello everyone, it's Leo and it's time to talk about episode 45 from wonderful PreCure. Very unexpected, very emotional, and very, very wonderful. I loved this episode. I was not expecting things to go the way they did, but everything was really, really good. So, a few episodes ago, we had some sort of closure to Mayu, and I feel like this was the closure to Iroha, and the episode continued the events from last week's episode. So after Fuku's passing, Iroha is feeling sort of down. And I believed that this feeling of Iroha was going to be related to Komugi somehow, but I feel like it was a little bit more abstract about life in general. As Iroha said later in the episode, she wants to befriend all the animals. And after Fuku's passing, she started noticing that friendship isn't always smiling, isn't always running around, isn't always being happy. There's gonna be sadness together with the friendships. It is part of the relationship. It is part of being friends with someone. In Iroha's case, it is part of being friends with an animal. It is just part of things. That is why she was feeling down. And people around her noticed. So we have Komugi always snuggling, and we have the other characters also mentioning it. We have great moments in this. First, we have Satoru finally confirming to us that Iroha and Satoru are really actually dating. They are boyfriend-girlfriend when he is talking about her and when he is, sharing that he wants to help her because he is her boyfriend. And this word boyfriend was used in the subtitles, and in Japanese he used the word kareshi, which can mean boyfriend. So very interesting. And so in the position of being her boyfriend, he needs to find a way to help her. And, he is someone who is very objective, very always reasonable. And he tried to find a perfect formula. He couldn't. Mayu, on the other hand, being her friend, also wanted to help her. So she searched on the internet in many, many ways. She couldn't find anything. And so they were desperate. And, Yuki is like, girl, why don't you just leave her alone? If it was with me, I would like to be left alone. So, and then Yuki brings up such a great point, which is when you are feeling sad, what do you do? And so they share. When Satoru is sad, he, pets Daifuku. When Mayu is sad, she puts her face in Yuki's belly. She smells Yuki. She snuggles with Yuki. And the answer is to both of them, stay close to their pets. Stay close to their animals that they love so much. And that is why in this scene, Niko-sama comes close and says, everything will be fine with Iroha because everyone is with her. And at the end of the day, that was the answer. But there was obviously something more. In this episode, we also have the advent of Niko Garden, and Niko Garden now is full. All of the animals, even a dinosaur, girl, I can't deal with this. Even a dinosaur, all of the animals have been rescued, so Niko Garden is now full again. Obviously, Torame is not able to create Gaogaons anymore because he used eggs, the Garu eggs, to create them. And when Mei Mei was thanking everyone, he also noticed that Iroha wasn't really paying attention. And she was trying to deflect from things, but she couldn't. She couldn't really hide from anyone. She couldn't run away from her thoughts. And Komugi was always there, snuggling her, all by her side every single time. And then when she was walking with Komugi, we see Torame. Torame wanted to create a Gaogaon. He couldn't find one, so he howled very loudly, and they were able to find him. He was sad because he just wanted to play. And then we have both Komugi and Iroha, coming together to make him play with them. But it was Komugi who took the first step. She was the one who gave the idea, who talked about the idea of playing. And Iroha started noticing that that might have been a good answer. That could have been a good event for them. And at that time, all the other members of the wonderful team arrive, and they transform and they start playing with Torame. It's interesting that a little before that, we see Torame going around, and he was feeling very tedious because we have Gao who does nothing. And Gao is still storing his power so that he could act on his maximum power. We see Zakuro lying down by his side. And in this episode, it was clear that they can change between their two forms, their humanoid form and their wolf form. And she was in her wolf form lying down by Gao. And then when the chase starts, they just start chasing each other. And I feel like Iroha kind of took the first step in that moment. She was the one who was using kid-eating animals. I mean, she used the kid-eating penguin once, and she created a little ice skating place for them. And, we have them playing around. We have them having fun. And Torame caught Iroha or Cure Friendly, and then Friendly started going after them, and they played. They played a lot. And Torame was having fun. The Cures were having fun. Everyone was just having a good time. When Torame fell down, we have Friendly jumping and catching him and using the Kirarin Swan. That was a very beautiful scene. And bringing him up. And when she did bring him way up, he saw a new scenario. He saw a different scenario. He's a wolf. He can't fly. So for him, there was a new scenario. Not only a new scenario. That was to represent a new perspective for Torame. Because after that, they just kept on running again. It was Lillian who had to catch them. And then when they were running, they started sharing. And Iroha was the first one. She said that she became a cure to be able to run. And they were like, well, didn't you become a cure because you wanted to help the animals? And she was like, yes, also that, but I wanted to run. Because as a human, I was running after Komugi and I couldn't reach her. I was running after Cure Wonderful. I couldn't reach her. So I started running. I became a cure so that I could run and reach my best friend and be together with her. And the metaphor of running is a place of connection. It's a place of freedom, I feel like, but also a place of connection, because we see a lot of running in Wonderful, not only in the chase scenes, in the action scenes, but also a lot of running with Iroha and Komugi. At the start of the episode, we see that girl that I don't remember the name, who has a dog called Emma, and they are running. The girl is running with Emma and Komugi, and she asks Iroha, aren't you gonna run? And Iroha's like, I'm a little tired. Because running for Iroha is normal. It's a point of connection between her and Komugi. And for them, it is a symbol of their friendship. And when they were running, Iroha was able to realize that that was an integral part of why she became a cure. And together with that, we have the cures also saying that it was a good feeling. Lillian said it, Nyami said it, and then Torame also shared that he loved running. And that wasn't the first time we see Torame running. But this time, we see him running with a smile on his face. Because different than the other times that we saw him running in the show, this time he was running together with friends. And he confided on the cures. He confided in the cures in this episode. He told them he loves running in the woods with his friends. He did it a lot in the past, and he is doing it again. He is now able to do it again. And then they all share a last moment together when Torame asks if Iroha still has the same feeling of wanting to be his friend. And that was the only thing that was missing for Torame. Friends. And when Kirfrendi told him that she was his friend, all of the evil energy that was on Torame is gone. He needed to fulfill one wish: playing, running around with his friends. And he did it in this episode of Wonderful PreCure. So he fulfilled the existence of his soul. His soul was alive for this moment. He deserved one last chance. We know what happened in the past with Torame. He was executed. It was not shown in this episode, but it didn't need to. He was executed together with the other wolves. But now he was able to come back and have his moment again. But with that, his life is no longer existent. And so he starts withering away. His existence starts decaying. And he starts feeling cold. So he asks them to perform what they performed on the Garugarus, on the Gaogans, so that he could feel a little better. Iroha does not want to, because she is going to have to say goodbye to another friend again. But then she starts realizing something. Friendship is indeed hard. There are going to be tough moments. There are going to be moments that you will cry, because sadness is it's an integral part of any relationship. It is impossible to have relationships without sadness. But if you don't befriend people or animals, in Iroha's case, you won't have the good memories, the good moments, the smiles, the enjoyment, and all the glee it will bring you. So, for you to have happiness, you will have to have sadness. The two of them have to be together so that they can exist. It's impossible to have happiness without sadness. It is impossible. And Iroha realizes that. In this episode, she realizes that. And so they perform Eternal Kizuna Shower on Torame, and Torame is gone. I was surprised. Really surprised. I thought he was going to stick around a little longer until the end, but he's gone. And his original form is there. It's a statue from the shrine. That statue was probably crafted by someone as a homage to the wolf that was killed, and that was Torame. That was to represent Torame. And the Niko Diamond returns to her. So we have some pieces of Niko Diamond left. One for Zakuro, one for Gao. After that, what will happen to Niko-sama? Ooh. Full power Niko-sama incoming in the last battle, in the last chase, in the last moment? I'm curious. And we can see a big change in Iroha. Earlier in the episode, she met the three amigas, and they just left flowers for Fuku. And they told Iroha to go there and pay homage to Fuku as well. She was not brave enough. She couldn't handle the goodbye at that point. But the episode ends with Iroha going and paying homage to Fuku, putting a flower there. At first, there were 3 flowers. 1 flower for each of the 3 amigas. And then at the end, there were 4 flowers. The 4th flower is Iroha's flower. And then she also brings the little Torame statue to the shrine. And she is ready to keep on with her life by befriending lots of animals. And she promised Torame to befriend Gao and Zakuro. And she's ready for that. While I was recording, I forgot to talk about a very integral part of this episode, which was the hugging scene in which everyone hugged Iroha at the end of the episode. Iroha was only able to realize that friendships have both happy and sad moments because she has her friends by her side in every single situation. They are right there to give her the hug. And a hug here is just to represent support. Komugi was right there with Iroha since the start of the episode, since she noticed that Iroha was down. And then at the end, we have everyone hugging Iroha. Even Daifuku participated in this hug. It was a very sweet scene, and I really loved it. Everyone is there for her. Her friends are always there for her, and that is so important for her to be able to overcome what was bringing her down and to make her understand that the beauty of a friendship is not lost just because there can be sad moments in friendships. I loved the resolution that Iroha had in this episode. It was so rich, it was so beautiful, and I feel like the path from the last episode to this one was truly, really powerful. Wonderful PreCure keeps on being wonderful. What an amazing story this is. I am truly impressed. I love this. Anyways, babies, this was my view on episode 45. I'm very excited for next week's episode, a Christmas episode. And it seems it's going to be Zakuro's moment. Is it going to be her last stand? Girl Yuki also bringing some emotional moments next week. I cannot wait. Anyways, babies, this is it for now. I want to take this little time to thank the members of the Magical Cinema channel. If you're a member here on YouTube, on Patreon, if you support me on Throne, thank you very much for your support. And if you've watched up until now, thank you so much as well. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye-bye.